another daily roundup of Russian Telegram chatter. Read the disclaimer below, please. Your like and subscribe is appreciated, it helps with increasing the reach of the channel. On Telegram today, August 2024 was one of the worst months for the ruble. It took fourth place in the RBC anti-rating. The ruble lost 5.9% against the dollar. It was worse only in 1998, 2015 and 2018. August is traditionally a deflationary month, due to lower prices for seasonal crops, and a month of weakening of the ruble. There was no deflation this year, but the weakening of the ruble could not be avoided. Spare parts for Chinese cars in Russia have increased in price by 45% in a year. The average cost of a wheel disc has increased by 36%, up to 23,000 rubles, a rear wing by 35%, up to 151,000 rubles, a front bumper by 71%, up to 35,000 rubles, and a front right door by 73%, up to 110,000 rubles, NAPI. Russia has partially suspended funding for socio-economic assistance to Abkhazia since September 1, the republic's foreign minister said. More than 50% of industrial enterprises were unable to find alternative suppliers in Russia to replace imports subject to sanctions, a survey by the Institute of Economic Forecasting of the Russian Academy of Sciences. Over 2.5 years, the situation with import substitution has slightly improved, when 62% of enterprises reported the lack of domestic suppliers capable of replacing sanctioned imports. The Central Bank of Russia may raise the key rate to 19 to 25% per annum in September, said Taras Skvortsov, senior vice president of Sberbank, on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum. According to him, this scenario is as likely as keeping the rate at the current level of 18%. We definitely don't expect a decline. I think there's an equal chance of maintaining or increasing it, he noted. The largest retailers reported their financial results for the first half of 2024. Only X5 was able to cope with the enormous pressure from the market and external conditions, such as inflation and the departure of brands. And not just cope, but also grow in all indicators. The total revenue of the owner of Pyaterochka and Perekrestok increased by 26.1% year-on-year, while that of its closest competitor, Magnit, increased by only 18.8%. Magnit's net profit decreased by 39.9%, while X5's, on the contrary, increased by more than 43%. The focus on working with the assortment and clear segmentation of the offer for each store format, as well as the focus on maximum efficiency of all businesses, contributed to X5's more solid results. Magnit has not yet found its footing. The Tatarstan authorities have increased payments for concluding a contract to 2 million rubles. The Republic will immediately pay 1.3 million rubles to the SVO participants, the municipality, up to 300,000 rubles, and the Ministry of Defense, another 400,000 rubles. Has this content been useful to you? Would you like to see more research and translation content from Beefeater Fella? If you do, and you want to stay up to date with my work, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel now. It takes just a few seconds and it's free. This is really important. Your support and recommendations can make a big difference to the channel. Mongolian president apologizes to world community for refusing to arrest Vladimir Putin. He justified himself, saying that in the current situation his options were limited. Politico reports. There are consequences. The Eastern Economic Forum declared total poverty of large families in Russia. Today, 10 to 20% of families with children do not have money for anything except food, taxes, rent, new clothes, clubs, theaters and museums. These are already difficulties for them, the head of the committee noted. State Duma for the Protection of the Family Nina Ostanina at the Eastern Economic Forum, EEF. From 45 to 60% of families receive enough to buy food and clothes, but they can no longer buy a refrigerator and a TV. In other words, truly poor families with children make up 70% of the total number of families with children living in the country, the deputy said. the Russian Direct Investment Fund, RDIF, and Gazprom LNG Technologies LLC have agreed to cooperate in the field of investment in projects for the development of small and medium tonnage LNG production capacities and integrated infrastructure development. The corresponding announcement took place on the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum, which is taking place in Vladivostok. Gazprom LNG Technologies is currently implementing a program to build more than 60 LNG production complexes in a number of regions of Russia with a total estimated capacity of 2.1 million tons of LNG per year, with commissioning in 2024-2025. In addition to investments in production and logistics capacities for the supply of LNG, the parties will focus on projects to develop a network of gas filling stations and autonomous gasification, as well as on the introduction and improvement of innovative technologies in the field of LNG production and use. In addition, the agreement provides for the implementation of projects in industry, agriculture, mining and other sectors by converting production facilities and transport to liquefied natural gas. Microsoft has begun to disconnect Russian companies from cloud services, including Microsoft 365, Office 365 and Teams. Is it not strange that they claimed they did this over a year ago? The total amount of individuals' debt on credit cards for 2024 reached 4.8 trillion rubles. This is 42% more than in the same period last year, according to OKB data. The number of open cards increased to 82 million, or by 16%. The average check on credit cards in July reached a maximum of 113,000 rubles. The volume of unserviced debts of 90 days or more at the end of July increased by almost a third, to 579 billion. Belarusian scientists will be given access to the Internet according to lists. Such a resolution was adopted by the National Academy of Sciences. The leadership of the institution will have to determine the circle of persons who have the right to access the Internet, said Vladimir Gusakov, chairman of the Presidium of the National Academy of Sciences. Taxi prices will soon soar again, by tens of %, Yandex.Go warns. All because of the shortage of drivers, which is growing due to tightening immigration policies and regulation of taxi activities. By the end of 2024, Russia will be short about 130,000 taxi drivers. Has this content been useful to you? Would you like to see more research and translation content from Beefeater Fella? If you do, and you want to stay up to date with my work, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel now. It takes just a few seconds and it's free. This is really important. Your support and recommendations can make a big difference to the channel. To those who have supported me on Patreon or buy me a coffee, you are simply awesome.